Day one of the silent treatment started over something so trivial, I can't even remember what it was. A comment about dinner, maybe? Or forgetting to pick up dry cleaning. Something small that became the excuse Natalie needed to shut me out completely. She didn't yell, didn't argue, just went cold. Like someone had flipped a switch and turned off every emotion she'd ever had toward me. I came home from the auto repair shop that evening, hands still smelling like motor oil, and found her on the couch, scrolling through her phone. I tried to kiss her hello. She turned her cheek. I asked about her day. She hummed non-committally and walked to the bedroom. That night, she slept as close to the edge of the mattress as physically possible. By day 3, the silence had texture. It filled our house like fog, making every room feel smaller, colder. I'd ask if she wanted coffee. Nothing. I'd mention weekend plans. Radio silence. Single syllables, or nothing at all. The cold shoulder is a particular kind of torture. It's not loud enough to fight against, not clear enough to defend yourself from. It's just there, pressing down on you. By day 7, I'd stopped trying. Not because I'd given up, but because I'd started paying attention to something else. Natalie wasn't just giving me silence. She was busy. Her phone constantly buzzed with notifications. She'd smile at the screen, then catch herself and go neutral. She started taking calls in the other room, voice low and animated, in ways she hadn't been with me in months. And she was spending money. A lot of money. I managed our joint account, not because I was controlling, but because I was better with numbers and she had always hated finances. She had full access. But now, the account was bleeding cash. $300 at a boutique downtown, $450 at a salon, $200 for lingerie I'd never seen, $600 at a restaurant I'd never been to with her. Each purchase told a story I didn't want to read, but couldn't stop analyzing. By day 10, I'd done what any mechanic does when something isn't working. I investigated. I checked her location history through our shared family plan. She'd been places she'd never mentioned. Credit card statements showed charges at hotels in our own city during hours when she'd told me she was having lunch with Rachel. Rachel, who'd moved to Portland 2 years ago. The silent treatment wasn't punishment. It was cover, camouflage for something she'd been planning. Day 14 arrived cold and gray. Natalie had perfected living with someone while ignoring their existence. We'd pass like strangers. She'd cook for one, eat in front of the TV, leave me to fend for myself. I'd stopped feeling hurt. Now I just felt observant. That night, I sat at the kitchen table with 14 days of bank statements, credit card receipts, and location data spread out like evidence. Tomorrow was day 15, and I had a feeling Natalie was about to break her silence. Not because she missed me, but because she needed something. Day 15 started like all the others. Natalie emerged dressed for work, makeup perfect, hair styled with too much effort for her office job. She moved through the kitchen like I was furniture. I was eating toast, reading the paper, accepting my new reality. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, and something shifted. Calculation replaced indifference. "Michael," she said. My name. After 14 days. Her voice was different, softer, almost warm, thawing herself for a specific purpose. I looked up but didn't speak. She sat across from me, positioned in morning sunlight streaming through the window, backlit and beautiful, strategic. She said, "I know we haven't been talking, and I'm sorry. I've just been stressed with work, and I took it out on you unfairly." "Okay." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Remember how I mentioned wanting to visit my mom in Denver? I didn't remember that conversation. We hadn't been having conversations. She's been having health issues, nothing serious, but I should go see her. Spend a week, maybe 10 days. When? This weekend. With the flight and rental car, I'd need about $3,000, maybe $4 to cover everything comfortably. There it was. 2 weeks of silence, and the first words are asking for thousands of dollars. $4,000, I repeated. I know it's a lot, but Mom really needs me, and last-minute travel is expensive. I set down my coffee. Natalie, when did you last talk to your mother? What do you mean? When did you last speak to her? Call, text, FaceTime. When? She blinked. I don't know, a few days ago? Why does that matter? Because your mother is on a cruise ship in the Caribbean with her book club. She posted photos yesterday. She's not in Denver, and she's not having health issues. Her color drained from her face. She'd forgotten I followed her mother on social media. Oh, right. I mean, the trip is for after she gets back. Stop. I pulled out my phone, opened the bank account, slid it across the table. 14 days of silence, and this is what you break it for. Not an apology, not wanting to fix things. Money. She stared at the screen showing transactions she thought I hadn't noticed. Michael, I can explain. You've spent almost $6,000 in 2 weeks. Restaurants, hotels, boutiques, salons, all while refusing to speak to me. Her jaw tightened. The soft version evaporated. Fine. I'm allowed to spend money. It's my account too. You are, but you're not allowed to lie about why. And you're definitely not allowed to ignore me for 2 weeks and then ask for $4,000 more for a fake trip. She stood up, chair scraping. You're being controlling, questioning every purchase like I'm a child. No, I'm being observant. What I've observed is my wife living a separate life for 2 weeks, spending our money on that life, then asking for more while lying to my face. The mask dropped completely. Natalie's warmth vanished, replaced by something colder and more honest. Fine, she said. You want honesty? I'm miserable. This marriage is suffocating. You're always at that garage, coming home smelling like oil, expecting me to be grateful you provide. Like being financially stable makes up for being boring. Finally, the truth. And the money? I asked. Is mine to use however I want. If I want nice things, nice places, to feel alive, that's my right. With who? She froze. What? I pulled out printed bank statements, highlighted charges, hotel visits during work hours, expensive dinners at restaurants we've never been to, lingerie I'd never seen. Who, Natalie? That's none of your business. It is when it's our money and our marriage. She grabbed her purse. You want to know? His name is Derek. He's exciting, successful, appreciates me. He doesn't make me feel like I'm settling for mediocrity. There it was. How long? Does it matter? It does to me. 4 months, and before you judge, this marriage was dead long before Derek. You just didn't notice because you were too busy being content with your boring life. 4 months, while I'd been trying to figure out what I'd done wrong. And the $4,000? She looked away. Derek and I were planning a weekend trip, somewhere special. Using our money to fund a vacation with your boyfriend. I deserve to be happy. I've spent years feeling invisible. Derek sees me. And yes, I was going to use our money because half of it is mine. I nodded slowly. You're right. Half is yours. But here's something you should know. I pulled out another document. This is my personal account. The one you didn't know about because you never asked about my finances. You just assumed we only had the joint account." Her eyes widened at the balance. $47,000. Was $47,000. I moved it yesterday into an account only I can access. Her head snapped up. "You can't do that. That's marital property. Talk to a lawyer. They'll explain that money I earned and saved separately isn't automatically community property, especially with evidence of financial infidelity. Those hotel receipts, they paint a clear picture." Reality settled over her. She was really seeing me, not as the boring husband, but as someone who'd been steps ahead. "What do you want?" "I want you to understand something. Those 2 weeks of silence, they gave me clarity. Time to observe."
I want you to understand something. Those 2 weeks of silence, they gave me clarity. Time to observe, document, and prepare. I pulled out the last document. Post-nuptial agreement. It separates our finances, establishes that your affair spending is your responsibility, and protects assets I brought into this marriage. I'm not signing that. Then I file for divorce, with evidence of your affair and financial infidelity. You keep what you've burned through, but nothing else. Her hands trembled. You're really doing this? You already did it, 2 weeks ago, when you chose silence over communication, when you chose Derek over our marriage. I'm just finishing what you started. She signed an hour later. The evidence was damning. Natalie moved out 3 days later. Derek wasn't interested in helping with moving expenses or offering his place. The exciting man was less exciting when expected to actually support her. She moved in with a friend, took a second job to cover debts from her 4-month adventure. I kept the house, my savings, and my self-respect. 6 months later, I ran into Rachel, the real Rachel, visiting from Portland. "What really happened?" she asked. She gave me silent treatment for 2 weeks, then asked for $4,000 to fund a trip with her boyfriend. I said no and filed for separation. Rachel nodded. "That sounds like the Natalie I've been hearing about." The divorce was finalized quietly. No drama. Just paperwork and dissolution of a marriage that had ended when Natalie chose silence over honesty. Sometimes I think about those 14 days. How I'd spent them feeling hurt, confused. Then day 15, when everything became clear. The silent treatment is a weapon. But like all weapons, it can backfire when the person you're aiming at uses the silence to prepare their defense. Natalie wanted to punish me with cold indifference until I was broken enough to give her whatever she wanted. Instead, she gave me time to see our marriage clearly. Time to protect myself. Time to understand that someone who can ignore you for 2 weeks doesn't love you. They're just waiting to use you. Day 15 changed everything, but not in the way she'd planned. The coldest part wasn't the silence. It was realizing the woman I'd married had been gone much longer than 14 days. I'd just been too busy trying to fix things to notice she'd already left.